everyone, welcome back to my channel. That is, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new, hi, my name is Erin and welcome to my channel. On my channel, I talk a lot about motherhood. I talk about postpartum, like this video. I talk about fitness, wellness, lifestyle, I vlog. It's a little bit of everything from my life thrown into one big batch. So I'm sure that maybe you're here for one of those reasons, if not all. So like I said, if you're new, welcome. Today, I'm a little nervous about this one. It's a bit of a sensitive subject for me. Like it is and it isn't. It's weird. I had a very difficult time with my postpartum body, as I'm sure pretty much all mothers do. For me, I have been in the health, fitness, wellness space for quite a long time. I started out as a group exercise instructor, and that was in 2016 was when I got certified. So I've been in this space for a minute, almost 7 years that I've been in the health and wellness space, because I got certified in like August time. But anyway, so when it comes to my postpartum body, I'm like comparing to my previous self when I was like super fit. Well, it's super fit for me. I know that there are people that are out there that are a lot more ripped than what I've ever been, and I understand that. But like for me, I really liked still like my body that I was in am still in. Sorry, that was kind of weird. If you've been following me for a really long time, you know that I used to maybe look like this. If you've been following me for a smaller amount of time, and you might have seen me before I had my baby or before I got pregnant, this is what I looked like then. Obviously, I look a lot different now, but I am working on getting back to that body that I was. That photo was actually taken during our honeymoon in Miami, and that was at the beginning of November, and I got pregnant like towards the middle / end of November area, sometime in that time. But yeah, gosh, I am like, my heart is pumping. I'm a little nervous about this. What I wanted to do with this video is kind of cover what it was like to go through that phase. I know a lot of women have been through this, but I feel like it's not really talked about a lot. So I wanted to come on and just be very open, very honest, very vulnerable. This is being in the health and fitness space. It's like showing off my body and the huge curves that it's been through. It's weird for me. I don't know. I've never really been shy about showing skin, but I don't know. It's a weird feeling. So I remember right after I had my son Jackson, who is now, well, next week he'll be 9 months, so he's 8 months currently. Right after I had him, I was very emotional, which everyone is, all mothers are right after they have a baby. Postpartum hormones, you know, it's sleep deprivation, whether you're starving or all the time, or whether you're more like me when I was like not wanting to eat anything. Sorry, I'm like jumping all over the place because I'm nervous. Can you hear my heart pounding from there? I remember it was in the first like week, maybe even the first few days being postpartum. My parents had come into town because they wanted to be there for the birth, or they came in like right after, like as soon as I went into labor, they got on a plane. So they were here when we brought Jackson home. I remember because I had a natural birth, or I should say a vaginal birth is what I should say, because I definitely took the drugs that they offered. I don't know, maybe a natural birth is considered vaginal without drugs. Yeah, I didn't do that, but I did do a vaginal delivery. To heal from that, the doctors recommended Epsom salt baths, which I did once or twice a day, I would say. Definitely once a day, sometimes twice a day, depending on my pain level. And that would help kind of speed up the process. And I remember being in the tub one evening, and my parents and my husband and Jackson, or maybe Jackson and I went to sleep. It doesn't matter. Either way, the three of them at least were out in the living room, just hanging out. I was in the tub, which I was in the only tub that we had was in our guest bathroom. So it was like right across the hall from the living room, right? And I remember being in that tub, and I remember looking down at my stomach and at my legs in the tub, and I just started bawling. Like, you cry a lot postpartum right at the beginning, and a lot of the times you don't really know why you're crying. It just happens because hormones, and you're kind of feeling a little crazy. So I just started bawling, and I remember the feeling of like, it's like I looked down and I was grieving over my body, if that makes any sense. It was like I felt like I had lost, because health and fitness is such a big part of me, I felt like I had lost that part of me, if that makes sense. Like, it's been a part of my life for so long, and it just all of a sudden left. And if you followed me through my pregnancy, I could not hardly work out at all. I couldn't really eat healthy. I couldn't work out because I was sick, like, all the time. If I would do anything more than a 15-minute walk, I was so sick. I was like constantly eating these like Preggy Pops or things that would help with morning sickness. And I didn't have it the entire pregnancy. It was mainly within the first, I think it was 14 weeks. I know normally it tapers off after 12, but for me it was 14 or 16, something like that. And then there was a little bit of a lull. I got a little bit of a break in the second trimester. And then towards the end of the second trimester, it kicked back in. So I wasn't sick the entire 9 to 10 month pregnancy, but it was the majority of it. And on top of that, I couldn't eat what I wanted to. Like, I would say that I was definitely on the healthier side of eating. Obviously, I didn't just go eat fast food and was like eating like shit all the time. That's not who I am, because I am in the health and wellness space. I tracked macros for a while. I went in and out of programs. I know I was a bit more hardcore going up to the picture that I showed earlier, this one. I was a bit more hardcore because our wedding was like a week or two right before the honeymoon. So I was like counting macros, and I was working out heavily, and I wanted to get in shape for the wedding and for our honeymoon. So that's where I was beforehand. But then when pregnancy hit, I was eating healthy in the beginning, and I did my first checkup at 9 weeks. We went in, you do your weight every checkup. My weight it might have been like 135. I went back for my next checkup. I don't remember what week I was. It was maybe a month later, and I had dropped weight. And that was a really big flag, obviously, to me and my doctor. And she was like, well, what have you been eating? And I, to be honest, had hardly been eating anything. Like, I was having to force food down my throat because nothing appealed to me. And the only things that did appeal to me was like McDonald's cheeseburgers and all of the nasty fast food in the world, Taco Bell, all of the bad stuff, candy, anything sugary, anything bad for you was the only thing that sounded appealing to me. And the doctor was like, well, to be honest, it's better that you eat the shitty food as opposed to eating nothing at all. So I was like, okay. And as much as I didn't want to do it, I ate all the shitty food. Like, I couldn't help it. I had to. Like, it was either eat the shitty food or don't eat at all. And looking back, I don't regret it, because I know that I did whatever I had to do to get through. Like, I kid you not, even drinking water would make me sick sometimes. It was absolutely insane. Anyway, back to my story. So I'm sitting in this tub and I am bawling, and I'm not talking about like not like a cute little cry. I'm talking, I started out with like the first level of, I started with that, and I was like trying to hold it in, right? I'm like trying to hold back the tears. I don't want anyone to hear me, because I don't want, anyone to like be distraught over me being in the tub and crying, or I didn't want comfort. It sounds weird, but I didn't want comfort in any way. I just kind of wanted to like be with myself and just like mull it over. It's like the Harry Potter quote, just mull it over in the water. And I texted my husband and I was like, can you please, I love my parents, but I was like, can you please have them leave? And I don't even remember if I like described what was going on to him, but I was like, they need to go. I needed to be able to just cry without, because I know if I cry, then my mom's gonna cry, my dad's gonna get emotional, and I didn't want that. And it's just gonna be like a big thing. Like, I didn't want pity. I didn't want, not that they would think that I wanted to be able to sit with myself and have my feelings and not affect anyone. That's it. So they left and I just bawled. I mean, full on just ugly cry. It was god awful. It was terrible. One of the hardest times I've ever cried in my life. Like, I was literally in the tub, like that level, couldn't catch my breath, like that level crying, because I was so distraught over how my body looked. And yeah, it's tough to come back. It really is. And it's hard to play the postpartum mental game, because you're like, all of a sudden your body doesn't feel special anymore. You know, like you've been housing this tiny little human for the past 10 months, and all of a sudden you're not doing that anymore. And you're like, well, now there's nothing there. Like, now I don't have to protect my stomach. Like I have, and I also, you have, 6 weeks in the beginning that you can't really do a lot of anything. You can't really work out. Like, you can go for a walk, but that's about the extent that you can do, or at least that's what my doctor told me. And so all that I could really do was go for walks every day. And I'm just like looking at my body in the mirror or in this tub and just like very emotional. And I know, like, oh, well, you just had a baby. Like, why would you feel like that? Those of you that have been through childbirth, you understand. And I know you do, because it's like, it's kind of like you feel like your body is a war zone. You know what I mean? It's hard. Anyway, over the last 8 to 9 months that my son has been here, I've been able to lose a good amount of weight, and I've been able to get some of my confidence back for sure. I know it's not back 100%, but I like the direction that it's heading in. I know for a while postpartum, I was still not eating right. I don't know if you guys are aware, but like, food addiction is real. And after eating the shit food for so long, I was addicted, absolutely. And that's why a lot of people struggle with losing weight, is because they are literally addicted to food. There are chemicals that are in fast food, like your McDonald's cheeseburgers and candy and stuff like that like has an addictive quality to it. And so for a while, I just kind of continued to eat the same. And I always wanted just something easy, because, you know, I was so exhausted. I didn't want to cook. My husband didn't want to cook. We were both tired. You know, it's just, oh, well, let's just, you know, for time saving sake, let's just go grab a cheeseburger. I don't necessarily regret the first few months, because I don't know. It's hard for me to regret anything from that, because I just don't. I hate that I continued it. But I don't really care, because I'm in a better place now. I don't eat fast food anymore. I don't eat a bunch of candy. I don't, like, if I want a little bit of indulgence, I go for some dark chocolate. I don't know. I'm in a much better place now, and I have more clarity. I know this is supposed to be a postpartum body video, but I also want to talk about some mental stuff. Like, I have a lot more clarity now. The early motherhood fog, I think, has finally went away. Thank God. That's a thing. That is a thing. Like, I couldn't concentrate or focus on anything hardly. I feel better. I really, really do feel better. And I feel like my old self, and not just in my body, but mentally, I feel like my old self as well. I'm able to work on business things. I'm able to do so much more now compared to what I did when, like, in the early days. Like, in the early days of motherhood, it was like, I don't know, it was like fighting for your life. As a mother, I feel like you either learn how to multitask or you die. You straight up die. Like, of starvation. You will die of starvation. You will, like, yeah. So, how I'm feeling about my body now is, yes, my confidence is definitely coming up. It's definitely on the upswing. I'm not currently in the gym by any means. What I've been working on recently is just consistency. I had started going back to the gym, and I did that for a while, but it was very on and off. I would stay consistent for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then I'd go off of it, and I was just like tired. And, you know, it's not necessarily excuses, but I definitely wanted to be a bit more gentle on myself. And if I was tired, And if Jackson had had a rough night, or if my body was just exhausted, because I'm also breastfeeding and still am, or at least I'm pumping, that alone is exhausting for your body. So I'm not mad at myself for not keeping up with the gym necessarily, but what I do feel is that I'm very happy about just staying consistent. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, here you go. But if you do, go follow me there. If you do, then you know that I have been doing a get outside challenge. So I've been going outside and doing either a walk, or a couple times it's been a run for me. I don't really run that much because my hips aren't great. I had a couple hip surgeries in 2018. I'm not gonna go over that right now. If you want that, comment below and I will tell my story about my hips. But anyway, yeah, I've just been going outside every day. I started with 20 minutes, and then every week on Monday, I bumped up my outdoor walk / run by 5 minutes. So now I've worked my way up to 45 minutes. I'm on day 40. Originally, I made it into a challenge and did like a 30-day challenge, but I ended up doubling it. So now it's a 60-day challenge. So make sure that you go follow that. I've been doing that along with some Pilates. Like I do 10 to 15 minutes right after I get done with my walk of some Pilates, some lunges. If I have one video of my Pilates workout that I did one morning. Here's a link to it, go click it. Apparently it's one that you can do with your cat as well. It wasn't meant to be, but it ended up being that. I am honestly very proud of myself for staying consistent like I have been. It also helps that Jackson is now on a sleeping and feeding schedule, and we've been very consistent for a while. I'm very lucky. We've put in a lot of work on it. He doesn't get out of bed until 9 a.m. So I'm able to wake up at 6:30 and go out, do my walk, do my Pilates, get ready for the day, get a shower, do all of that before he even wakes up, get my coffee. All of that's done before he wakes up. And honestly, it's wonderful. It's helped me out so much mentally to be able to take care of myself before he gets up, before I have to go and take care of other people. It's super nice, and recommend it if you can. I know I'm very lucky and have a baby that wakes up at 9, but if you can do that, please do. How I'm feeling about my body is that I am loving it. I definitely still have stretch marks. So I decided to do a little comparison. That story of me in the tub looking down at my legs, here's actually a picture from it. And then I'm going to do a little comparison here. And hop into a little bikini for you guys so you can see. I think I'm interested to see it myself actually. I think some of my stretch marks have faded. My stretch marks came in literally right at the end of pregnancy. Like I didn't have one stretch mark until the very end. It was like literally the last week or two, all of a sudden they all came in. I already had some stretch marks from like turning into a teenager. I already had some stretch marks from that, but these were definitely a lot more. They only happen on my thighs. I'm very lucky. I don't have any stretch marks on my stomach or on my breasts, so that's very nice. I did use a stretch mark lotion. Sometimes it was an oil. I swapped back and forth between two. Here they are. I don't know if they helped. I don't know if they actually worked, but that's what I used. I always rubbed it on my stomach, and then in the 3rd trimester, I definitely took care of the breasts and my thighs as well. Here's your little comparison. There's the thighs now. So I feel like they've healed. I'm honestly really excited to see it myself. I was using the stretch mark lotions, oils, whatever. I go back and forth between them, or I was using those. And then if you follow me on Instagram, again, handle. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been going through a bit of a dermatitis journey. So I have atopic dermatitis. And so with that, my dermatologist is not allowing me to use anything else other than the things that he has recommended. So I did have to stop that a couple months. It's almost been 2 months now that I've had to go off of those. Before I was using it very regularly, like once or twice a day. I did go off of those. So now I'm just using a CeraVe lotion, this guy. Now I'm just using that to go on my thighs. It's just the normal moisturizer that I use every day all over anyway. So that's all that I've been using. I also wanted to be very open and vulnerable. Since I was already in a bikini, I thought that I would show my full postpartum body. So let's go back, and it's also in the same bikini. So let's go back a little bit. Here's this picture again, okay? This was right before I got pregnant, like literally 2, maybe 3 weeks right before I got pregnant. And then now, there it is. I am proud of the progress that I've made. I know that I have lost muscle. However, I'm not super upset about it, to be honest, because I know that I couldn't really do a lot about it during pregnancy. I know that I can now, and I know that I'm going to get back into the gym. I don't know when. Like I said, right now I'm just working on consistency, and I know that I was being really, really hard on myself before as well. Like if I would miss a day at the gym, I'd be like, you know, what is wrong with you? Like, why can't you do this? You used to do it before. And I had a chat with my friend, Allie, and she was like, you need to be a bit more gentle on yourself. And I was like, oh, damn, you're right. So I have been a bit more gentle on myself. I stopped the negative self-talk because that was helping no one. So now it's like, when I want to go back to the gym, I will. If I feel like going and doing it, I'll go get a gym membership and I'll do it. But until then, I'm okay doing whatever. I could just do Pilates at home. I could just go for a walk. I am just being very easy on myself. I also know it is very, very difficult to lose fat / weight, whatever you want to call it, to lose that postpartum, especially when you're breastfeeding because of the hormones. And I plan on breastfeeding until he is 1 year old. So until the beginning of September, I'm going to push through the next 3 months and just have it out of the way. And I'm hoping that the hormones will regulate a bit more when we get there. Anyway, I've been going on and on and on for almost 30 minutes now, so I'm gonna call this the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a very open, vulnerable video. It's another sit down and talk one. I feel like we might go back to another vlog if you guys wanna see that. Comment down below and let me know what you want to see next. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. There's my handle again, that's like the 4th time. Make sure you go follow me on there, because I did put a poll up before my second video to ask what you guys wanted to see. So I might do that again for the next one. TikTok as well. I'm pretty active on there. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment down below what you want to see next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.